This is a comparison of two latest generation of 35mm electronic exposure manual focus cameras, the Minolta X570 and the Olympus OM4. Both of those cameras came out around the same time, and both of those represents top of the line technology on what a 35mm manual focus SLR camera can do. In terms of technology advancement, I would say OM4 probably has the advantage because OM4 features a very sophisticated spot metering function. And this area is the most important part in this camera because the spot metering as well as a highlight and shadow auto exposure are very, very useful in tricky lighting situations, okay? And you don't find that in the Minolta X570. The 570, however, features a auto exposure log, which actually kind of compensates for the multi-spot metering mode of the OM4 because you can actually precisely measure and expose for the model of the frame and then compose your shot with a properly exposed or properly set exposure value. So that kind of compensates a little bit for the spot metering of the Olympus. However, the Olympus definitely has the advantage when it comes to technology. This is not the Olympus's latest and last generation of the OM4. The last generation is OM4 Ti or OM4T, which features titanium top and bottom plate, slightly reduced weight, and a I think improved flashing system that supports flash sync all the way up to 0.002 of a second with a dedicated Olympus flash. Now that's a huge plus for people who uses flash back in the days, but nowadays I don't really use flash on my film cameras. I only use flash on my digital SLR with high-speed sync, so that's not an issue for me. But it's better for you guys to be educated on, flash advancements backing those manual focus cameras as well. So high-speed sync is not a new technology; it's been around for decades. Just to let you guys know. Now, a quick comparison, this camera features a faster shutter speed of 0.002 of a second, which the Minolta only goes to 0.001 of a second. And it's got a cloth shutter over here. The OM4, I think, has a metal shutter, I believe. Oh, guess what? The OM4 actually features a cloth shutter that goes all the way to 0.002 of a second. And in terms of flash sync speed, again, as I said, I think this one only syncs at 0.006 of a second because this is not the newest generation, unfortunately. But if you want to use flash in your cameras, in your old film cameras, consider the OM4 Ti, which syncs at all speeds. This one only syncs at 0.006 of a second, which is the exact same as X570 that only syncs at 0.006 of a second. Besides that, both of those cameras is going to be reliable because of the silicone blue cell light meter that they both use. And the OM4 actually has a very interesting feature called off the film metering. So that means when you are doing when you press the shutter, even though your shutter speed is set, the camera automatically senses light changes. So if there's suddenly more light getting to the camera, it actually closes the shutter immediately to prevent the shots from being overexposed. So the OM4 is always metering, even if you press the shutter with a predetermined shutter speed in the auto mode. So that's kind of a advanced feature that they implemented back in the 70s and is still present in the OM4, which is a really, really nice feature to have. Okay, it's very nice. The X570, so this one doesn't have off the film metering. It only meters once during the shutter press, but this one is constantly metering, which is really, really cool feature. Okay, so I think that's pretty much the difference between those two kind of almost top of the line cameras. Back in the days, both of those is going to give you fantastic pictures because of the reliable light meter. and it really depends on which feature you're gonna want. If you do a lot of spot metering, the OM4 is definitely a better choice. But if you want a more reliable, more ergonomic camera, the X570 is gonna be your choice. However, also keep in mind that the size of the Olympus, again, it's the smallest SLR in the world. So look at the size difference. The Olympus with this top of the line camera is much, much, much smaller, okay, in terms of the camera profile compared to the X570 or X700 for that matter. And the lens are also smaller on the Olympus offering as well for the same focal length. So this is a 28 millimeter and this is a 28 millimeter. Look at the size difference. Look at how small Olympus made the camera to be, and it's a big achievement on Olympus part. All right, so that's pretty much I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions about those two particular cameras, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below, and I'd be happy to answer those questions for you guys. So thanks again, and see you in the next video. Take care.